What is going on, Washington fans? Welcome back to We Hail. I'm doing a discussion today. It should be a short discussion, but it's one that needs to be said. And it's kind of just irritating me when I hear the things said about this guy. So there's an article out, and I'll talk a little bit about the article. Then I'm going to go into the meat and potatoes of this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I get videos like this all the time. And, yeah, so the article was, will the Jets sign Sam Howell as backup for Aaron Rodgers? There's basically a rumor out there by one of the beat writers for the Jets that the Jets are very much interested in trading for Sam Howell, a third-round pick. Some have said it's like a second-round pick. They don't have a second-round pick this year, so I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe it's a future second-round pick for Sam Howell. But that's like the rumor. And I'll speak like logistically, like if you're gonna draft a quarterback this year, you might as well try to get something for Sam Howell. Okay, so if you can get a third-round pick, we only spent a fifth-rounder on him. So if we can go from a fifth to a third, and maybe throw in a seventh or something, that's value added. I think this is I'll go in right now. We're only a minute in this video. I'm going to go into my issue with all of this with Sam Howell. Everyone wants to sit here and blame Sam Howell and say he had a bad second half of the season. Okay, cool. So did the entire team. So did the rest of the football team. The rest of the football team had a bad second half. You're not looking to trade everyone on the defense. Okay? You're not looking to trade everyone on the offensive line, but you're looking to trade the quarterback who has to have a lot of those things kind of in conjunction for him to have a chance to succeed. It's a hard position in football, and you don't have a good defense. You didn't have a good offensive line. The wide receivers played horrible this year. Running game, I don't say the running game was bad. I'm not going to say that because we didn't run the ball enough to know. But you can't sit there in one sentence say Ron Rivera was horrible. The team gave up on him. All this other stuff. And then in the other sentence say, but Sam Howell standalone without all those things impacting him was just horrible, period. You can't have one without the other. There's a cause and effect. Why did Sam Howell not look good the second half of the season? Because the entire team didn't look good the second half of the season. Okay? That's why. And all I want to hear is Jacoby Brissett bullshit. Jacoby Brissett went in garbage time, which would have been Sam Howell's stats if he'd have kept playing. He went in garbage time and succeeded in garbage time. He had no meaningful minutes in any game. He had one game where he got it close and it looked like it was going to be an actual game. I think it went to overtime. Might have gone overtime. But Jacoby Brissett went in when nothing mattered anymore. The game was all but over. Okay? Garbage time. Got a bunch of stats. I don't want to hear that from people. Jacoby Brissett is not a future quarterback for any franchise. He is a career backup. That's what he's going to be. Sam Howell's going to be a franchise quarterback for somebody. Whether it's us or the Jets is the question. Okay? I don't understand. This is what really irritates me. In one breath, legitimately, everyone's like, oh, Ron did this. Everyone gave up on him. People didn't like Ron. They were tired of him. They didn't like Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy had attitude. They tuned him out. All the offensive, like, you can't sit there and say in one sentence that all these things were bad around Sam Howell and then say Sam Howell's standalone talent sucks. Okay? Everything around him sucked. Okay? And you can only do so much as a quarterback if you're not getting blocked. We got sacked 65 fucking times. Pardon my French. But Jesus, he got sacked 65 goddamn times. And every Sam Howell hater in the world is like, oh, he holds the ball too long. Okay, maybe he holds the ball too long because guys aren't getting open. Maybe he holds the ball too long because you're calling long developing plays rather than short passing plays, Eric Bieniemy. Maybe he holds the ball too long because the teams are sitting back in like 7-man coverages and only bringing 4 people, and that's enough to get to the quarterback. And it's if it's a zone, it slow plays the game, and there's no balance on offense, so you're not faked out at all by a play action. There's a whole bunch of things that are going to result in a quarterback not playing well. Okay? If the defense had played well all year, he wouldn't have been stuck in a position where he was always having to throw us back into games or throw to keep pace with the team. Okay? Everyone forgets how he played against the Denver Broncos. Everyone forgets how he played against a couple other teams. I just can't think of them right now. Okay? But everyone remembers that he didn't play well the last couple games. Everyone remembers that, considering no one on our team played well the last couple games. But somehow he's the scapegoat. I don't understand this. Someone explain this logic to me. Okay, no one would have survived or thrived as our quarterback last year under Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy and Jack Del Rio, because the offensive line wasn't fixed. Whoever it was going to get sacked a lot. Okay, there was no running game because of Eric Bieniemy. He just likes to call pass play after pass play after pass play. No balance at all. Okay, and I'm going to say this: the receivers did not play well last year. We're playing. I don't remember who it was. I to this day I need to go back and look it up. But we were playing somebody, and we need to, I think it's the Eagles, honestly. I think it's the Eagles. And the second time. And we need to convert a third down and a fourth down. And back-to-back plays, Sam Howell throws darts, and Terry McLaurin drops passes. Wide open passes. Okay? Might be a reason for it. Maybe it wasn't, but it doesn't matter. Hit your hands. It wasn't like they were bad throws. They weren't like it wasn't like so far behind he couldn't get it. They were there. They hit your hands, and you dropped it. Okay? And it's just, that's the kind of season we had, where we didn't have our receivers playing out of their mind, and Sam Howell was just a bad quarterback. Sam Howell would hit people, and it just dropped passes. We were playing somebody, who was it? Curtis Samuel, I think is what it was. It need to get a first down. It's fourth down, and then you get a first down, and we're in like the red zone. And he goes like it's an up route, and then like you go in and then you go out to the sideline, throws it on the dot on the hands, hits the hands, and all the guys do is catch it and go out of bounds, and it's a first down, bobbles it. It's Curtis Samuel. So that's the kind of season we had. There was nothing no protection of the quarterback. Okay, and we have an opportunity now where we could trade back and get a slew of picks. Okay, for someone else who's desperate for, I don't think we're desperate for a quarterback. I think this is a guy. That's my opinion. You don't have to believe that. You don't have to believe me, but that's my opinion. But you can't logically sit there and say Ron Rivera was all these things horrible. Okay, and then on the other breath say, oh, Sam Howell standalone is bad. Okay, well, everything that's around you is bad. You're not going to play great. Okay, and the guy's proven he's worth more than the fifth rounder. We've proven he can play in the NFL. Okay. If we have a much better coaching staff with a much better offensive coordinator, with a much better QB coach, all those things are adding up to being this guy could be way better, significantly better than he was last year, because the structure's better around him. The defense is going to be better, so it's not putting him in bad spots. The offensive coordinator is going to be a lot smarter and run the ball better. He's going to utilize weapons better. Everything. Offensive line cannot be worse. It cannot be worse. If we go from 65 sacks this year to 35 sacks, woo. That's a huge improvement, and that guy's going to have 30-plus touchdowns. He had 21, and he got sacked 65 times this year. And if he would have played in garbage time, he probably would have had up to about 25 or 26. So, I'm not waxing poetically too much. This is a short video, but this is just irritating me how much I'm hearing people say, they talk about Sam Howell like he's an afterthought. He had one season as a fifth rounder where he got the start, and everything around him was crumbling. And he still had some pretty good games where you can say, if that's the Sam Howell we can get in the future, that's the guy. If we can get that consistently, that's the guy. Easily, that's the guy. And I get it. The allure of getting some of these these other quarterbacks like Drake Maye or Jaden Daniels is appealing. But why not trade back? Why are we not the team that ever trades back and gets a lot of capital? Okay, it's for someone who has all these high draft picks consistently. Why are we not the ones trading back? Gaining a lot of assets. You're not going to build the offensive line. I mean, you can, I guess, with free agents. I'd rather build through the draft because it's going to be a lot less. I'd rather fix the defense with free agents and build the offensive line. We have not committed stuff to the offense consistently in the Ron Rivera era. Okay, and actually going in the Jay Gruden era too. So like the last few first round picks have been pretty much mostly defense. The last offensive player we drafted was, Jahan Dotson. But we had, like the last few years, no, first rounders, not offensive players. They've all been defensive players. Last year, Forbes. A couple years ago, Jamin Davis. Okay? Then we had Chase Young, and we had John Allen and John Payne. Okay? Those are all first rounders. We have not committed to the offense at all. So that's what I think you do. You commit to trading back, building up the offensive line through the draft, one that can be sustained for a long time. And that's how I believe you build this team. And it's going to be a constant thing until the actual draft to see where this team is, this ownership is going and the management is going. But the biggest thing to me is I think we're going to heavily regret if we trade this guy away. I don't think we're going to regret. It depends on who we draft. Jaden Daniels, I think, will not translate well to the NFL. I think Drake Maye is a rough product. So that's the problem I have with both of them. And Caleb Williams, I think Caleb Williams is going to be a bust. I really do. He has a lot of things in college where he is very talented. Do not get me wrong, very talented. But it's a lot of things up here that's problem. Anytime there's like something goes south, it goes south quick for him. And that's what I think the problem with Caleb Williams is. So I'm glad that we're not even in that discussion. But Drake Maye and Jaden Daniels, I don't think we're just. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that we're going to trade this guy and regret it. It's the Washington curse. We do things like this all the time, and we're regretting these things. And this is going to be one of those things. But if you are not a Sam Howell fan, put it in words why you think that with all the things that went on wrong with Ron and how poorly he ran the team and how there was no structure and guys gave up on him, how does that translate to it's all Sam Howell's fault now? We got to trade the guy. And how do you not put something better? So last year he got 21 touchdowns and 21 interceptions, and he had, I think, 5 rushing touchdowns. So he had like 25, 26 touchdowns. Okay? As a fifth rounder with all that stuff crumbling around him and sacked 65 times. And you can't sit there and say that a better coach with a better offensive coordinator, with a better defense, and with a better offensive line, that guy doesn't turn into a 30-plus touchdown machine, and he's going to have less than 15, have about 15 touchdowns. How does that not translate to you? How does that not take that guy from a pretty decent fifth-round pick to one of the highest valued picks we've probably ever had when it comes to drafting someone after like the first round and what the value they're going to bring to the table? I need someone to, without saying, oh, he just sucks or whatever, give me something that's going to, like, reinforce. My opinion is Ron sucked and everything around him sucked. Everything that Ron touched was bad. Okay? Ron and Jack's defense, horrible. It worked for a couple years against teams that didn't have great quarterback play, and it made the offense a little bit, like, I won't say better, but it made it less, because they didn't have to throw as often, and they were able to hide Taylor Heineke and kind of like hide Taylor Heineke's abilities or lack thereof. Okay, so they were able to do that like last year or like 2 years ago, and and Carson Wentz and so on and so forth. And you also, like, that defense sucked. You also had an offensive line that was bad. Like, it frustrates me how people will look at all these things and then the end conclusion is Sam Howell's just that bad. No. Sam Howell was in a bad spot. Any quarterback we put on this team would have not been great under those circumstances. Okay? Would not have been great. Okay? And I think it's prisoner of the moment might be the best way to put it, to just say, all of it's Sam Howell. We have an opportunity to get a different quarterback. Let's hit that refresh button on a different quarterback. Okay? So I'm not going to wax poetically. I've expressed my opinion on this. And if you see this and you don't like Sam Howell, give me something, just justify it. It's not justified to me to sit there and say Sam Howell's the problem when in the same breath say, but everything else around him was also bad. Okay, if the team was bad, the team was bad. Okay, and in a bad situation, he still had games where you could say we could pull out games and be like, okay, good here, good here, good here. These games were bad. What can we do to fix those things? Those things get fixed, and he plays like that in that game. Completely different thing. Okay, and that's with things falling around him, with everything crumbling around him and bad. He still has those games where you could say that's franchise quarterback material. That guy, if we get that every game, will be great, etc. I'm not going to go on too much more or anymore. This has been JD. This has been We Hail. You should see some things down below about subscribing in my previous video. It would really help the channel if you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. And comment also. Comments, I comment back with everything anyone says. Okay? So if you have something to say, make it make sense to me. Okay? Don't sit there and say, just, oh, Sam Howell sucks and you're stupid. Okay, maybe that's fine if you want to do that. Cool. But make it make sense. My logic is, Ron sucked. Everything he touched sucked. And so obviously, he's going to make Sam Howell as the least effective quarterback as possible because of Ron's inability to coach his team and get his team to play as best as they can. So everything around him wasn't as good as it can be, and Sam Howell's not going to thrive in that environment. So my name is JD. This is We Hail. Have a good one, and hail to the Commanders, and see ya.